How does a player go from being the best in college basketball to being drafted in the second round? Because that's exactly what happened to Jalen Brunson. We're talking about a player who won 2 national championships, was named the National Player of the Year, and won the Wooden Award. He was widely considered the smartest guard in college basketball. And yet, on draft night in 2018, 32 players were selected before him. Today, Jalen Brunson is an NBA All-Star, the leader of the New York Knicks, and one of the most clutch guards in the league. So the real question is simple. How did everyone miss on him for so long? And more importantly, why was Jalen Brunson actually overlooked? Or did the NBA just refuse to believe what was right in front of them? To understand Jalen Brunson, you can't start with the NBA. You have to start way earlier than that. Because Jalen Brunson wasn't exactly a hidden gem. He wasn't really a late bloomer, and he wasn't some unknown player. He was a winner from day one. At Stevenson High School in Illinois, Brunson was one of the most dominant point guards in the country. He was a 4-year varsity starter. He led his team deep into the playoffs every year, and he finished his high school career with over 2,000 points. He was already known nationally. He was already respected. He wasn't overlooked then, but the real foundation of his career came at Villanova under Coach Jay Wright, and this is where everything changed. Brunson didn't go to college to chase highlights. He went to learn how to win. As a freshman in 2016, he was a part of a Villanova team that won a national championship, but he wasn't the star of the team. He was still learning, developing, and understanding how to play within a system. Then came his sophomore year, where he really started to blossom and become something special. And by his junior year, he wasn't just good, he was the best player in college basketball. He averaged nearly 19 points per game, shot over 50% from the field, and controlled games with unbelievable efficiency. And he won it all. National Player of the Year, Wooden Award winner, consensus first team All-American. At that point, there was no question. Jalen Brunson was the most accomplished player in college basketball, and still, NBA teams hesitated on him. So why didn't the NBA believe in him? I think that answer is simple. He didn't look like a superstar. At the draft combine, he measured at 6'1.5", average length, average athleticism. In today's NBA, that matters more than anything. Front offices aren't just drafting players, they're drafting tools. They want explosiveness, elite speed, long wingspans, rim pressure, defensive versatility. And Brunson, he just didn't stand out in any of those aspects. He wasn't slow, but he wasn't explosive. He wasn't small, but he wasn't long. He wasn't unathletic, but he wasn't elite. And that average label, it's where players often get underestimated. Because scouts are starting to ask the same question. Can his game actually translate when everyone is bigger, faster, and stronger? And because Brunson didn't have elite physical traits, many teams answered that question with doubt. But here's what they missed. They were evaluating him like an athlete, not like a basketball player. One of the most common labels Brunson got before the draft was this: high floor, low ceiling. On the surface, that sounds like a compliment. It means he's smart, reliable, NBA ready. But in draft language, it's actually a warning. Because low ceiling means teams don't see superstar. They saw him as a solid backup, maybe even a role player, maybe a starter on a bad team, but not a franchise-changing player. And that's where the disconnect happened. Because Brunson didn't play like a player trying to prove potential. He played like a player who already understood winning basketball. But the NBA doesn't always reward certainty. It rewards imagination. Teams don't just draft players because of who they are. They draft players because of what they might become. And Brunson didn't fit that fantasy mold. So instead of being seen as a future All-Star, he was seen as a safe backup option. The 2018 NBA draft is now considered one of the strongest drafts in recent history. It featured stars like Luka Doncic, Trae Young, and several other role players. And in the middle of all of that, was Jalen Brunson. And he waited, pick after pick, team after team. They all passed on him, passed again and again, until finally, with the 33rd pick, the Dallas Mavericks selected him in the second round. Think about that. A National Player of the Year, a two-time NCAA champion, the best player in college basketball, drafted behind 32 other players. And here's what makes it even more shocking. It wasn't one team that passed, it was the entire NBA. Every front office saw him, every scouting department evaluated him, and almost all of them came to the same conclusion. He's good, but not great. And that's where the miss happened. And then in Dallas, something magical happened. They didn't see a star right away. They saw something better. A player who already knew how to play basketball. As a rookie, Brunson stood out for his control, his decision-making, and his composure. He didn't play like a first-year player. He played like someone who had already been in big games for years. And playing next to Luka Doncic changed everything. Because when Luka was the primary engine, Brunson became the perfect secondary creator. He learned how to operate without dominating the ball. He learned how to punish defenses when Luka was resting. And slowly his role expanded. Then came the 2022 playoffs, and everything changed. When Luka missed time in the Utah series, Brunson stepped up as the primary option. And he didn't just survive, he dominated. He scored 24 points in game 2 and then 41 points in game 2 of another matchup. Then 31 in a closeout game. Suddenly, the league had to reevaluate him because this wasn't just a system player. This was an all-out scoring machine. When Brunson then signed with the New York Knicks shortly after, the reaction around the league was skeptical. Many people called it an overpay. Others said he wasn't a true number one. Some even said he was just a product of playing next to Luka. But the Knicks, they saw something different. They saw control. They saw leadership. They saw a player who could potentially stabilize an offense that had struggled for years. And from the moment he arrived, everything changed. The Knicks became more organized, more efficient, more confident in the late game situations, and Brunson, he's the epicenter of it all. Not because of athleticism, not because of the hype, but because of execution. And most importantly, clutch performances. Game after game, he delivered in the fourth quarter. He slowed games down when they needed control. He created shots when possessions broke down. He became exactly what New York had been missing. So what is it that makes Jalen Brunson elite? It's not speed, it's not size, it's not explosiveness, it's skill. First and foremost, footwork. Brunson might have some of the best footwork in the entire NBA. Pivots, spins, hesitations, jab steps. He uses every inch of space to create separation. He absorbs contact instead of avoiding it. Smaller defenders can't move him off his spots. The third thing is pace control. He doesn't rush, he doesn't panic. He controls the rhythm of the game. And most importantly, basketball IQ. He reads defenses instantly. He understands spacing. He knows where help is coming before it arrives. In a league built on athletic explosions, Brunson is here with timing. He wins games with his mind. The Jalen Brunson story is bigger than just one player. It's about how the NBA evaluates talent. Because for years, teams have only focused on what he wasn't. Not tall enough, not fast enough, not explosive enough. But where they missed the mark was, is he a winner? Is he a leader? Is he a good decision maker? And is he a player who consistently elevates his team? And now, he's proven that those traits are more than what people thought. So maybe the real question isn't whether Jalen Brunson was overlooked. Maybe the real question is, how many more players is the NBA still going to get it wrong about because they don't look the part? Was Jalen Brunson overlooked because the NBA overvalues athleticism? Or is he one of the rare players who exposed a flaw in how the league evaluates greatness? Let me know in the comments.